Good morning. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday morning. Mine's pretty good. Been doing some stuff around my house, organizing stuff, figuring stuff I want to get rid of, stuff I want to keep. Still got a lot to do, but I'm at a good start. Having my breakfast right now. Well, technically a second breakfast because I had butter coffee this morning. I had some steak. Still going to town. I did have shrimp. My place, but I tore that up. I just love shrimp. Of course, my favorite eggs. Banana. Apple. Definitely my top two favorite fruits of all time. Actually, I'd put apple 2, banana 3, berries. Any berry is number 1. But we all have our likes and differences. That's what makes the world go round. And sometimes you learn when you're around people with different opinions, different mindsets. You know, different foods. That's one thing I've always been interested in, is trying new things. Because, hey, you don't know if you're going to like it until you try. On to a bigger issue. And starting tomorrow, a lot of people are going to be losing food stamps. Which that's not good for people that do rely on them. Like, say like there's a guy who just got laid off from his job. He can't, afford to feed him and his family. Sometimes that'll help get him extra money so he can feed his family. Or a single mom, that's struggling, working 2 jobs and trying to make ends meet, and just needs enough just to feed her kids. I mean, I understand. There are people that do abuse it. Does get abused. Like, yes, they buy stuff they shouldn't buy, like sodas and snacks. But I heard some states have regulated that. But at the end of the day, just remember, not everybody is fortunate enough to find that really good paying job. Not everybody has that significant other to help them out. And there are some people that don't have friends and family to help them out. Or you got somebody that's disabled, or an elderly person. So let's think about that before we all say, good, they shouldn't have that. No, that's not cool. I know people that have done it, that have had to use it just to survive. But for those of you that do use it, I hope something works out for you, where you can still at least feed you and your family. But here's another thing. Our job market is not as good as it used to be, which I think is hurting our economy, because you got employers, that are taking shortcuts and hiring people, making job hiring much harder, making people go through obstacle course just to get a job. And you gotta stop and think. We all say nobody wants to work, but we don't even stop to ask the question, well, why don't people want to work? What can we do to improve that people can work? And I understand it's a both ways things. Because I've seen some able-bodied workers that do really good and they just up and leave. I've seen people leave a job after 2 days. Can work be stressful? Yes. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to make money and pay your stuff. But yeah, sometimes it can be a toxic manager that don't want to do anything or doesn't try to help. Or it could be that one employee that everybody complains about, or has to complain about anything anybody does. That can definitely make an impact. But sometimes we just gotta figure out ways that we can get people to work at a good place where everybody can at least somewhat agree. You're not gonna agree with everybody. It doesn't mean you hate them. I disagree with people, even the people I love in my family. That doesn't mean I'm going to hate on you. Here's a quote from Ronald Reagan from back in the 80s. It's okay to disagree with somebody. That's democracy. But if your plans is to make the American people lose, then maybe you're part of the problem. We need to stop blaming others. We need to just say, put our heads together and say, okay, this is what needs to be done for our society. We need to do X, Y, and Z. And get it done. Until we figure that out, I don't think anything's going to change. And we could point fingers saying, oh, it's the Democrats. Oh, it's the Republicans. Oh, it's this one. It's that one. It's blah, 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 blah. When in reality, we just need to say, look, this is all our fault. We need to figure out how we can solve this so we can get our economy going. We can cut down on fighting, cut down crime, get people working, make our economy better. Because I hate to tell you, we're about 4 years away from the 100-year anniversary of the Great Depression, and I definitely don't want to go through that, because I think it'll be 10 times worse than when it was back in 1929. Trust me, I've heard stories about Great Depression from my grandparents and my great-grandmother. So, that's my food for thought. I stopped worrying about what other people doing. My best advice, when I was in high school and I wrestled, because I used to always tell my coaches, why isn't so-and-so coming to practice? Why ain't they doing this? Why ain't they doing that? You know what my coaches said? I don't know. But you're here. Worry about yourself. That's what I do. I'm focusing on what I need to do, how I'm going to do it, when I'm going to do it, where and why. That's what I need to focus on. And you know why I was struggling with myself? Because I wasn't doing anything about it. I wasn't taking action. And that's what helped me back in wrestling, why I didn't win matches. And my wrestling coaches say, it's because you're not doing anything. And I look back at it and he was right. If I did more, took more risks, took more shots, did more moves, I could have probably won more matches. But that's just my food for thought. And that's my learning experience. I don't always live in my past, but when I come with situations, I always look back at that. And here's the thing. We're in control of what we do, how we do it, and when we do it. That's it. Nobody else can do it but yourself. And the only person you can control is yourself. So that's the hard truth, my food for thought. Hey, for anybody that has a goal, I wish you the best of luck. And I hope you get it. Just put the work in, and eventually you'll get the results. And that's what I'm doing. I hope you all have a wonderful day. It's been raining in my area. Hope it's nice and sunny in yours. Keep being you. Worry about yourself. Do what you need to do. And just keep being awesome.